What is up, everybody? Zach from Moto Chronicles. Going to do a quick install video on the new Peak upper control arms. Haven't found a good video online. Had to kind of wing it a little bit because it didn't come instructions. But we got one side on, so I'll give you guys a quick look at that, and then we'll dive into the other side so you guys can see how to do it. So you guys can see up here, really nice hardware all the way around. I'm pretty impressed. The tolerances on these things are like super small. It's kind of a pain to get together, but worth it in the long run. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is start by taking the control arm off. Now, the complicated thing with this is back in here and on this side, you could probably see a little bit better on that side, but there is a nut that goes to the bolt that's on this side and this side that you need to access. So in order to take the control arm off, you have to take the shock off, or at least partial way off, and then also the end link down here to let this all sag. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is loosen the top shock bolts. So you can see there's one right there, one right there, and then there's one on the back side. I'm not sure if you could see it or not, but we're going to loosen those nuts off, take them all the way off. Those are 18 millimeter, so we'll go ahead and do that. Alright, there's a bolt right here. So this is what connects the upper control arm to this knuckle here. So we will go ahead and remove that bolt. It's also an 18, just like the top of the shocks. Alright, the next thing we're gonna do is take this sway bar end link off. So you got like a 13 down below and then a 15 up top. That looks like. Alright, then if you come under the shock, I don't know how well you guys can see it, but there's two, one here, two bolts right there. Pop those guys off. They're 15 as well. So with this nut off, this can fall out. Now normally this, you're gonna have to tap this to get it off, but this can, depending on how loose it is, especially if you have this bushings wore out, this can fall. So just be ready for this to fall. It won't fall, it'll catch on the lines, but you want to keep it off the brake lines and stuff as much as you can. Alright, now so to free this up, you're just going to kind of tap on the side towards the rear of the truck with a hammer. And that's kind of what I was talking about with it falling, that you want to prevent, because you can see it kind of catches on this. Alright, so next thing we're going to pull out the bolt that's on this side with the nut that's over here. Bolt that's on this side with the nut that's over here. Now, in order to get back to these nuts, this is why we had to pop the shock out, because you can see it's in the way. So if you bump this guy kind of down and out of the way here, then you'll be able to get to this side, and you can move the shock over and get to this side. I don't know if I said it or not, but these are both 21 mils. Control arm comes off. Okay, so now this is really a part I'm unsure of with these control arms. I'm basing this off of the install of the previous ones. Like I said, this on Peak's website, it says it comes with instructions. It did not, so I'm kind of winging it. Like I said, I've already done the other side. I did it this way and it all works, and I'm assuming it's similar. So basically what we're going to do is take an angle grinder, and I'll show you guys how I'm going to measure it, but we're going to wind up notching this little plate here out. We're going to chop this triangle thing off, and then we're going to round out this a little bit more, and that's all in the instructions for the tubular one. So if you're doing the tubular one, you have to do this for sure. These new ones, I'm not 100% if you have to do it, but I know that it's not going to hurt anything and it works on the other side, so we're going to run it. Alright, I'll show you how we measure it and then we'll cut. You take these pieces that come with your control arms, they're going to set your bracket up in there. I'm only doing one side. You could stick that in there, kind of where it's going to go. And all I did was take a silver Sharpie and just kind of notch a line and notch a line. Basically the goal would be to cut like this. And I'll kind of do that with an angle grinder. something like that. Just give it a little bit more clearance. And then, like I said, we'll chop this guy off on both sides, and then this guy I'll show you in a minute. All right, guys, so I'm just putting towels over kind of all the boots and stuff that are around, just because I'm going to be flinging a fair bit of sparks with angle grinding. So I figure this is better than nothing. There's obviously probably way better ways to go about this. That if you're making a show truck or something and you want it to be all pretty, you might want to take some more stuff off, do this a little bit differently. So this bolt right here holds this whole bracket on. So we're gonna pop this off because we need to grind this bracket down. All right, so now we're gonna work on grinding this thing. So basically we just kind of want to grind like that, more or less, and just take this part off. All right, so we're just gonna use some of this rust barrier paint. Alright, wait for that to dry. I'll start putting the control arm back on. Brake line back. So before you put this on the truck, I recommend getting this in here and just working this a little bit to make sure, because when this comes, this bearing's super stiff, or this joint rather, so you need to be able to move it to get it on. So I would put that in there and just kind of break it free. Just using the same stock bolts, nut. All right, now that we got all that tightened, we're gonna go ahead and get the top shock nuts back on the top of the shock. Alright, so the next step is to get the upper control arm actually onto this knuckle. However, this is kind of a pain. Definitely easier with two people. So I'm gonna get my buddy and we are gonna get this on together because that's how I did it last night. Alright, so the best way we found to do this was put the jack right there, and then that'll kind of hold the weight of the Alright, just putting the two shock bolts back on. So we're just going to put a little dab of grease. Probably more than enough, honestly. Just to spread around to create a little bit of a watertight seal. Alright guys, well that's the install video. I hope it helped you guys out. Again, there's no instructions right now. Product only came out like a month ago. So no instructions on how to cut. So just keep a look in the comments because there might be changes to how you actually do this. But hopefully they come with instructions soon as well that we can know exactly how to cut. But it works, that's all that matters. Cheers guys.